Boom! All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Today we're going to discover how to travel luxuriously, but for less. Let's get this one started. Here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
Look, a business can give you everything you want in life: prestige, wealth, freedom. It can also take everything away from you. This show is for those who are willing to take that risk. These are the real life stories of entrepreneurs. But before we start, I have one small favor to ask. Please leave a comment. It can be advice, critiques, tips, feedback, or share this with someone because your engagement is the most valuable and most powerful form of social currency. So thank you, and welcome to another episode of Business Bros. Business Bros, get ready to pack your bags and elevate your travel game with today's guest, the globe-trotting genius behind Prince of Travel. He's here to turn your dream destination into a reality without breaking the banks. Without breaking the bank, unless you have multiple banks. I guess that works too, right? From the secrets of miles and points to the art of creating unforgettable experiences, he's your guide to smarter, more affordable travel. So buckle up for the journey that will change the way you see the world. Let's welcome to the show, Mr. Ricky Zhang. All right, Ricky, here we go, man. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Hernan. Thanks for having me. You really did a great job in getting me hyped up for this.
Let's do it then, man. All right. First question I always ask is everybody who comes on the show is here to promote something. There's something that they do for a living, something amazing that they're sharing with the general public out there. So what is that for you?
For sure. Well, I'm the founder of Prince of Travel, and we're all about helping the world, helping travelers out there explore more of the world, travel more, and do so in greater style for less money out of pocket. So whether you're, just a regular Joe, whether you're somebody who's really interested in travel, whether you're a founder, business owner, luxury traveler, we're here to help you see more of the world for less.
Let me ask you, man, because people who travel, that's like almost everybody, but almost every business can't talk to everybody. We got to kind of narrow down our focus. So if you had an ideal target audience, that person who's probably going through something specific, they live a certain type of lifestyle, they maybe make a certain kind of money, who's this ideal person that would fit your program?
Yeah, absolutely. To me, it's the one word that captures it is aspirational. Right? If you're somebody who really aspires to see more of the world, if you're somebody who's a bit of a go-getter personality, whether you're somebody who, you're professional, you've got some expenses, regular life expenses, and you're thinking about how you can leverage those expenses to, maximize your points and unlock travel experiences there, or you're somebody who've gone into business yourself, you've got business expenses, looking to translate those into personal travel wins, we can help, all of the above. And to me, it's all about that word aspirational, looking to unlock those aspirational travel experiences. And that's what we're all about.
All right, let me ask you, dude, because I got like an Amazon credit card, like where you get points for Amazon purchases, where I do a lot of purchases. I got maybe a Southwest credit card that I hardly ever use, except when they have like point promos. What is the average person missing when it comes to using points or using some of these available offers that are out there that maybe we're kind of aware of, but don't really know how to use?
Yeah, man, it's all about first of all, it's all about putting all of your expenses that you can put on a credit card, right? So no debit card or anything like that. Make sure you're putting anything you can on a credit card, but more than that, it's about using the right credit card. And the thing that most people miss is they're usually, like you said, they pick one credit card that they maybe they've seen once in a while, and then they see like Amazon card that makes sense, Southwest card that makes sense. The key is selecting the right, what's known as a transferable points currency. Okay, so in the US, there's 4 of them. There's American Express, Chase, Citi, and Capital One. And up here in Canada, where I live, there's a handful as well. And the key about these transferable points currencies is that they have the best of both worlds. They allow you to, redeem directly for a travel purchase if that's what you wanted. So if you have the Southwest card, for example, a lot of take the Chase card, for example, it can transfer to Southwest, so you can still unlock Southwest flights if that's what you want. But it also offers you greater optionality. So a lot more options. Chase, for example, has a whole range of airline and hotel transfer partners, likewise American Express. And the idea is you earn points that you have so much flexibility to do with later on that can, help you get towards a whole range of travel goals. So wherever it is you want to go in the world and whatever type of trip you want to take, whether you want to fly in first class or business class or economy, whether it's a 2-week trip or a couple of days, when it comes time to book, you have so many more options to use your points to book compared to locking yourself into just the Amazon ecosystem, just the Southwest ecosystem. That's what I'd say most people miss. So, there's a whole range of credit cards within these 4 banks I mentioned that you can pick from that might be the right one for you, but it's important to focus on earning the right type of points on the credit card that you choose.
Does it mean I have to have like multiple cards that I use for different areas, or is it cool to use like 1 or 2 cards that are transferable? Like when you get a client to come aboard and say, look, this is something I want to do, I definitely want to travel. What's that process like? How does somebody work with you, and what do they have to do?
Yeah, so usually we get a new client where we're starting off by going really deep in understanding what their spending habits are, what their travel goals are, and really our whole service is geared around taking, the former, like how much do you spend, what are your spending patterns, which categories, right, like dining, advertising, whatever it is, and tailoring that towards your travel goals. So where is it that you want to go? What type of experiences do you want to have? How many trips per year and with how many people? And by having a comprehensive understanding of both sides of the coin, we're able to say, for your dining purchases, use this card. For your online ad spend, use this card. For everything else, there's another card you might be more optimal to use. Usually, it comes down to about 2 to 3 cards, like you said, where we can really construct the optimal portfolio of cards for you to focus on. When it comes to the true maximizers out there, it's possible to get 5 or 6 or 7 multiple cards. Even more if you wanted to really squeeze out every last drop of value. But for most people, a core set of 2 to 3 cards makes the most sense. And for our clients, we usually look at their existing cards. We'll say maybe swap out this one, get a new one, keep this one. This one makes sense. But yeah, we'll get you set up with those first 2 to 3, and then after that, sometimes it's about strategically getting 1 or 2 other cards at certain times. Maybe when there's good bonus, maybe when there's a change to the rewards landscape, what change to the features. When 1 or 2 cards might make more sense, but typically it's a set of 2 or 3 that we think most people will be successful with.
There are a lot of people who worry about using credit cards. I'll give you an example. I mean, it's a generational thing for sure, but I use an envelope accounting system. So every time we get paid, cash comes out, goes in the envelopes, groceries, gas, that sort of thing. And that's how kind of we can monitor where our budget is, because otherwise I swipe like crazy, I could get out of hand. Any organizational tips that you might have for people that maybe aren't used to swiping, or maybe aren't used to swiping so many different cards?
Yeah, it's really important to stay organized in this game, right? It's one of those things where you kind of need to be organized and have good financial habits as a baseline before you pursue the upside of rewards points. If you get it in the wrong order, right? If you're not somebody who has those good financial habits, then it can go wrong, because if you end up overspending or carrying balances, then the extra that you pay in interest and late fees, that's going to far outweigh the rewards that you earn. So definitely, absolutely in line with you on the importance of staying organized. Typically, we recommend using a spreadsheet. So when it comes to having multiple credit cards, it's good to keep track of what are the cards you have, when did you open them, are you getting close to a 12-month mark of opening the card, because that's when your next annual fee is going to come due. What's the annual fee that you're paying on it, and so on and so forth. And then as it relates to the monthly expenses, most of the major credit card issuers will let you download your monthly expenses, link it up to a budgeting app if that's what you use. Typically, I don't usually do the envelope method, but I know some old school folks do that. But the digital versions, just download your transactions. Then you can look at what the breakdown is by category, how much you've spent on which card, and how many points you've earned, whether you've earned the maximum points, and so on and so forth.
Now, some of these cards have some amazing perks built in them just because you have them. Things like lounges at the airport, different types of things. What are some of those cool features that you might get utilizing specific cards, if you're able to qualify for them?
Yeah, so there's quite a handful of interesting perks out there these days. Airport lounge access, like the main one that most of the different issuers compete on, right? So American Express, American Express is the bank that has led the charge as it relates to lounge access. Historically they've had the platinum card. It's a $6.95 annual fee, so definitely up there in terms of cost. but it gives you unlimited access to, not just American Express's own lounges called Centurion lounges. You might be familiar, right? They're typically pretty nice lounges, among the best in the United States, like domestically within North America. But also a series of partner network lounges called Plaza Premium and Priority Pass, and a handful of airline lounges around the world when you're traveling internationally as well. So American Express, super comprehensive lounge network, typically unlimited access for the Platinum card, and then some of the lower tier cards you get, a limited set of lounge passes as well. But then more recently, other issuers have been competing too. So you've got Capital One, Chase. They've been building their own lounges as well at major U.S. airports. And Chase recently came out with two really impressive looking airports at the New York airport lounges at New York LaGuardia and JFK. And they've got, they're all investing in their own airport lounge experiences, copying the model of American Express. So if you're a cardholder of one of these premium cards with these banks, so Capital One Venture X, Chase Sapphire Reserve, for example, you'll get access to their lounges, at the airports where they have them. Typically, right now, American Express still has the largest network, but Chase and Capital One, they're gradually expanding their footprint as well, and they've also partnered with the same global lounge networks, Priority Pass and whatnot, to give you that comprehensive lounge access. The goal is for any of these issuers to give you lounge access, somewhere to chill before your flight, basically no matter where you're traveling. And American Express typically does the best job, which is why the Platinum card's pretty much the go-to for lounge access. But that's just the one example. And then you've also got more like hotel elite status, right? Car rental perks that elevate your travel experience across all the touch points as you're out there on the road.
People love to hear those stories of great luxurious travel at super low cost. What's the story that you got, maybe one of your clients or maybe you yourself, that you've been able to capitalize on the program that you're sharing with us today?
Yeah, well, I'll share with you a couple, and these are trips that I've personally taken, and then what we've seen is our clients have, seen all these trips happen on social media and our website, and they've said like, I want to do this as well, and we've gone ahead and booked that for them, right? So, a really special one from last year was my own bachelor party, actually. So I got married last year in the summer.
Congrats.
Thank you, thank you. And a month before that, it was actually my team that surprised me by booking this round the world trip all on points, because our company is all about traveling the world on points. My team's been with me for a while, and they got together in secret and planned this bachelor party around the world on a whole bunch of airlines. The outbound portion to Thailand was the most impressive part, right? Because Thailand bachelor party things, we don't have to talk too much about that. But getting out there, we flew Qatar Airways, which is one of the world's best airlines, out of Qatar, out of their hub in Doha. And then the sweet spot that we booked was Qatar Airways business class, so Q Suites. I don't know if you've seen, but it's one of the world's best business class products. It's got 4 seats in the middle that are kind of together, and you kind of slide open the walls, and everything comes down. You've got this what's known as the quad, right? So 4 people sitting together facing each other. It's great for families. It's great for groups of the gang of 4 traveling together, and that's one of the highest level, like most aspirational uses of points that exist in this whole space. And the fact that I and the team got to do it, and the team like came through and pulled it off for us was downright incredible, right? Like, we're all just like, whoa, this is an incredible shared experience with your close friends that you just get to have. They're serving you, they're pouring you unlimited champagne. They've got the Arabic mezza course, they've got the steak, the lamb loin, and they got unlimited dine on demand, right? So you can eat whenever you want, drink however much you want, whenever you want. So that was the first part of the highlight. And then, the sweet spot overall is business class from North America to Doha, and then first class from Doha to Bangkok. That's like one of the best sweet spots, best uses of British Airways points, which transfers from any of those banks that I talked about, right? American Express, Capital One, and so on. And so, yeah, we got like 19 hours in the lounge in Doha. If you've ever been to the lounge in Doha, the first class lounge, you've got private sleeping rooms. You've got a jacuzzi, right? That's like in the lounge. So an airport, a hot tub in the airport, which is pretty crazy. And we all got in there together to sip champagne in the jacuzzi, which was fun. And so we got like this overnight unlimited a la carte dining experience as well, delicious food. And then we all boarded the first class flight for 6 hours to Bangkok. And Qatar Airways first class is one of the two airlines in the world that has an onboard bar. So we, naturally took our seats, had our meal service, had our caviar for four, right? We're
Nice.
high maintenance like that, right? And then we popped back to the bar and we just, four old fashions, four champagnes, four gin and tonics, and it was just like the best bachelor party. So, we did that, and then our clients are all like seeing all of this happen on social media, be like, hey, I want to do that with my team, with my boys as well. And we managed to make a few of those happen. So yeah, that was definitely one of the most special times. And truly, when it comes to this stuff, doing any of this like by yourself or with a partner is super fun, but doing it with your close friends, with your loved ones, really takes it to the whole other level.
Oh yeah, 100%. First of all, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I don't travel as much. I don't want to sit at the airport waiting for the plane to come, sitting there for hours with a layover. Doesn't sound fun, but the way you did it, oh my gosh, like I would spend some time at the airport. Tom Hanks being stuck at the airport, if it was one of those lounges with the jacuzzi tub and all you can eat and drink, that might not be such a bad thing. So let me ask you on the entrepreneurial space, like it's one thing to learn this stuff and to travel on your own with a group of friends. It's another thing to turn it into a business. What was that like?
My
Hey,
cat
kitty,
just got
kitty.
up on the
Yeah.
table. So yeah, man, I've been in it for 7 years. We just turned 7, Prince of Travel, just last week, basically. So, we started off as a personal blog. It was just myself typing up articles, just sharing with the world what I was learning. And this was when I was like 22, 23 years old. I was just somebody who wanted to figure out this whole thing for myself, right? Because I was like just graduating, didn't have a lot of discretionary income, but wanted to see the world. And so, sorry about that.
Speaking of the world.
Yeah. I want to see the
You want to
world.
travel the world, yeah.
Yeah. And so And so I went on a few trips, right? And I started sharing on the blog. And then along the way, I was figuring out how to use the credit cards to book the flights, how to maximize my value, how to maximize the credit card points that I could get, right? Which cards to get, what order, what were the best bonuses. And then when I got the points, how to actually squeeze the maximum value. When I say squeeze maximum value, over the past 7 years, I've taken some pretty crazy trips for the sake of squeezing value, because for a while that was like the name of the game for me. So I've done like, round the world flights with 16 flights, and I spent like 2 days in each place, right? Stopovers and whatnot. So I really lived this whole globetrotter lifestyle in my 20s. And along the way, I kind of had a decision to make, which is like, do I want to keep just doing a personal blog and, making a relatively comfortable income doing what I love at the time? Or do I want to build this into something that impacts a lot more people, right? Can offer a range of products and services geared towards these outcomes rather than just sharing information, and like involve other people in the process, in the journey of building this thing, right? Because for 3 or 4 years it was just myself, but I thought it would be fun. I had an inkling that it would be fun to build a team and start making the mission a bit bigger than myself. And that has been the journey for the past 3 or 4 years, since about 2020, during the pandemic. That was a bit of the turning point. So yeah, it's been a wild ride, and I still feel like we're just on the cusp of greatness. And it's no longer just a website. We've got YouTube as well. We've got a content production team. We've got a product team delivering on these optimized outcomes for our clients who choose to work with us. We've got a luxury side for our travel agency, and so yeah, it's becoming a burgeoning ecosystem, and it's really exciting for me.
Heck yeah. I mean, you went from traveling on your own to having your friends and teammates plan a whole world trip for you. I mean, that's
Yeah, man.
dope to be able to do that. That's amazing. Let
I
me
will
let me ask you
say,
this. Go for it.
I will say about that point, like if I could, that was the one thing that I would have never in my whole life dreamed of being possible when I first started this thing. Like if you had told me that my team would end up planning a surprise round the world bachelor party all on points, I would just like told you you're completely crazy. So it's one of those joys of entrepreneurship things, right? That you never anticipate what are the surprise upsides that come along.
Oh yeah, 100%. All right, so obviously people are going to head over to your Instagram. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, it's at Real Ricky. They're going to go check out all the cool stuff that you've been able to do, the places that you've been able to travel to, the lounges, the jacuzzis, all that stuff. They learned a little bit today on what it is that you do. So if they're interested in finding out more and they want to know how to get a hold of you, how can they do that and what can they expect?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram. That's my personal. You can find Prince of Travel as well. And generally speaking, if you head over to our website, princeoftravel.com, and join our newsletter, that's on the front page. You can enter your email, join the community. We'll hit you with a few emails at the start to kind of educate you about the whole space, get you up to speed on the basics of earning and redeeming points for travel experiences. And we'll also be in your inbox every weekend on Sundays with all of the latest deals and news that you need to stay on top of. The space is rapidly changing, and so in order to optimize, it's important to be on top of all the knowledge. And that's also where you'll also find more information about our range of products and services that can help you travel better. We've got a membership, we've got a consulting service, we've got our high-end concierge, like I mentioned, and we've got one more thing is in April we've got an event for everybody who's super into this stuff. It's called the Travel Summit. It's in Toronto, and you'll find the details at thetravelsummit.com.
So when you travel now you're married, I don't know if you have planning on having kids now later down the road. Obviously your expenses go up. You have to spend a little bit more money. But in your space, that might not be a bad thing. That's going to kind of open up the door to do some more traveling. You're going to see the world a little bit different now that you're married, maybe as you have kids later down the road.
Yeah, that's a good question. I said that I had, all of these crazy globetrotter experiences in my 20s. It was really about optimizing for freedom, right? It's really about just like having as much of these experiences as possible. And I got to say, for a while, I was optimizing like number one for that. And I felt that that switch flipped pretty quickly in the past couple of months, actually. Just because, as I'm rounding the corner towards turning 30 this year, just looking to be a lot more intentional, a lot more purposeful about my relationship with travel. It's less going to be about like gung-ho trips all over the world all the time, as it has been in the past few years. More, like looking to spend my time purposefully. I get my best work done when I'm at home, when I can focus, when I can get in the zone, right? I got to spend time with the wife now that I'm married, right? Got to work on that. That's a lifelong endeavor. And obviously having kids in the coming years, to me, that's really exciting because that's an opportunity to rediscover travel, rediscover the world through their eyes, right? A lot of places I went to in my 20s, I kind of registered. I was like, I like this place, but I probably wouldn't come back here again unless it's with my kids. And then, that's a whole new experience, even though I've been there before, showing them those parts of the world. So yeah, looking forward, it'll be different. It'll be more intentional trips, maybe slower, maybe fewer, but looking to get specific purposes out of that, whether that's for, bonding with my wife or, building relationships for the work we do. And then when the kids come along, it'll be all about showing them the world step by step.
All right, you've been a globetrotter, man. So my last question to you is, you have the last choice, your last destination in your life. You get to pick to go anywhere in the world. Where is your go-to place? Where's the place that just stands out in your mind and like this is the most beautiful, the best place, the best experience that you've had around the world?
That's such a difficult one, man. You're putting me in a difficult spot. You're Oh man. I guess right now, if there's one place one part of the world I'd love to see that I haven't seen yet that would fit that bill, it'd probably be like an Antarctic cruise. So getting to see like what that part of the world looks like in person. If there's a destination that I love to go back to and rekindle, that's so tough, man. That's so tough. I'll give you a handful of answers. Okay. So Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, that's always special to me because it was the first like very foreign trip I took on like as a traveler myself rather than with my family. So it was a place I had wanted to go and push my own boundaries. And I went with some friends and it was a transformative experience. This was 2014 World Cup. And then I'll also say New Zealand South Island is just a the epitome of like natural beauty for me. My wife and I went in 2019. We had such a great time. We'd love to go back. That's such a serene, tranquil place to, get a car, rent, drive around, and explore the island. Yeah, truly beautiful. And lastly, Japan. If you've been to Japan, you'll know it's just, from a travel experience, from a visiting an actual foreign destination, being embraced in a foreign culture, I think especially for Westerners, nothing really compares in terms of just how encapsulated in its own culture Japan is, and it's just a wonderful place to visit.
Dude, the world is your oyster, my friend. Thank you very much for coming on the program today. Ladies and gentlemen, like, if traveling is your thing and you want to do it in a way that you've probably never done it before, then you're going to have to talk to experts who've been traveling the world on points, right? So make sure you guys go to his website, scrolling across the bottom. It's princeoftravel.com, princeoftravel.com. You can find them at Prince of Travel on social as well, or check out Ricky's stuff directly at Real Ricky on Instagram. Make sure you guys check it out. I mean, I don't know about you, but he made traveling sound really cool. He made the airport sound really cool, and that's not really a place that I normally associate with a cool, relaxing, enjoyed bachelor spot. But apparently it can be if you can utilize the points correctly. So make sure you guys reach out to Ricky, princeoftravel.com. Ricky, thank you very much for being on the program. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll catch you guys on the next one. See you around the world, please.
Thanks for having me.
It's over. Go home. Is your business in need of marketing? Try starting a podcast, but not just any podcast. Podcast like a pro. We can show you how to take your business from being invisible to becoming a brand people trust. Go to www.businessbros.biz